So guys, Cockerpunk here. Had a little tech tip that I ran into today while making a fuzzard, and I figured you guys might want to try it out. It's an old machinist trick. Most holes on paintball guns are 1032. That's what bottom line holes are. A lot of grip frames have that screw. Just a very common thread, and it's also a very common thread that gets stripped. So here's a quick, easy way to chase out your threads and get them working again. Or another way is, there's no sense buying a bottoming tap, which is a tap that forms threads all the way to the base. So this is actually a tap. This I was just using it. It is high-speed steel, tool steel, coated in some sort of titanium, I believe is what this gold coating is. You can see, if my camera would focus, it basically has a taper at the top and then slowly fades into the threads, and that's how it cuts threads. Now, a lot of people don't have a tap, don't want a tap, don't want to deal with that, and that's the real way to make threads. But we can make a homemade tap very easily, or a bottoming tap, because essentially a bottoming tap doesn't have this taper on it, so you can make threads all the way into a blind hole, which a lot of paintball guns have. So if you need some extra thread because you strip something out, you can make a bottoming tap like this. And so what I've done here is, this is a 1032, relatively long one. I like the Allen heads because that gives you something nice to turn it with. And you can't see right now, I'll show you after we are done with it, that I have essentially filed into this as primitive of a tap geometry as possible. Now what we're doing right now is, obviously it's sitting on my stove heating. What we're doing is we're going to quench harden this. We get it up to a really, really nice hot temperature, glowing red hot basically, and then we quench it in as cold a water as I can come up with. And that speed, so first off, steel is carbon and iron, right? And depending on the rate at which it cools, you get different forms of steel. And so what we're trying to go for is a form of steel called martensite. It's very hard and it's very very tough. So because tool steel is very hard, and aluminum may be softer than steel, but you also don't want to be grinding these out. So you want to have something that's nice and hard. And so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to make some martensite steel. So this has been sitting here for probably a good 10 minutes. So I filed it, and it's been sitting on the stove for a good 10 minutes. Get it nice and heat soaked. Ready to go. I'm going to turn on the faucet over here with as cold a water as I can, and now we're going to be very careful because obviously within about 6 inches of this you can already start feeling the burn here. So I'm going to grab this with a pair of pliers, and then I have it in the faucet, in the tip, because the tip is where we're going to do most of our cutting. So I put the tip in first and as fast as I can, and we're going to just keep that water running continuously. So that way the water doesn't start to warm up with the heat from the screw. We just keep fresh water, fresh freezing cold water running over it for as long as we can. And see, we quenched the tip. The back is probably still hot here. Yeah, you can see that. Back of the screw is still hot. But that's okay. That's okay that it took longer for that to cool down, because we don't need the back of the screw to be very hard. We need the front cutting portion of it. So now that I've cooled that down to a reasonable temperature, I'm going to drop it in this cup and just leave it there. The first time I tried to film this video, I actually ended up dropping it right down the drain disposal and had to chase it out with one of those magnets. So that was less than fun. But I learned from it. So it's probably doing just fine, easy to handle. I'll take it out here and show you what I originally had filed into this profile. So my camera still doesn't like to focus on it. So you can see there's a nice big flat there I filed into it. And then the other thing, I did that on 2 sides. And made it pretty narrow, obviously. And then I also tapered it, just the same way that this one is tapered as well. So this should cut some decent threads in aluminum. Now obviously this is just a stopgap measure. Taps and tap dies and tap wrenches and oil is probably only about 15-20 bucks. But if you have you know, a spare 1032 and you got to get to the field in a couple of hours or tomorrow or something like that, this is a very easy way. You just use this just like a normal tap, but I would just stick an Allen wrench in the back and run it through your threads and run it back out, and it should clean up the threads for you. So, oh, there we go. Now I got it to focus on there, so you can see the big flat I filed into there, and I tapered the threads pretty well. And we made it nice and hard with quench hardening. So there's a little tech tip and a little tour of my dirty ass kitchen. So you guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.